for a small team, I mean, for however, whatever size team, this has been such a game changer for us. I can't say that, I can't stress that enough, that this is a game changer for us, because it's not only can I see what we're doing and where we're going, but I can see how we're going to be able to scale, where the holes are, and how we get to that revenue number that we want to accomplish this year. And so I think just having the processes and the systems down to where everybody can work towards that common goal, it's just a huge game changer for us.
Harry, can you give the audience a brief description of what you do and who you are?
My name is Tori, and I work with the United States federal government. We are a private contractor, and we build things for on military bases, federal properties, or anything that falls within the federal sector.
Yeah, lovely. What else do you do? Because you also have different things going on.
What was that?
Biking.
Oh, okay. So you want me to talk about like everything? Yeah. So I also, I do a really hard endurance event every year. And this year I'll be doing a gravel bike race. And then most recently, as a side tangent with my main business, we started a technical proposal writing arm, something that I saw a lot of smaller construction companies struggling with to keep up with the effort and time that it takes to source the opportunities, and then the expense that goes along with writing technical proposals. And so we've been able to automate that process a little bit and make it more cost efficient for smaller businesses to compete with, the bigger guys that have the money and the resources to put these packages together.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. So tell me, what were your main work-related challenges before we started working together?
I think before I started working with you, the one of the biggest challenges was that there wasn't efficiency in our systems and processes, because everything was kind of scattered. Our Notion was it was a little half-assed, and it just wasn't something that was streamlined and easily digestible for me, or the employees that I have, to really maximize our output.
Got it. Got it. So in general, chaos in information work management, which led to low efficiency and difficulties with effective collaboration. Am I right?
Correct, yeah.
Lovely. And before you came to me, before we started working together, what did you try?
So, because we are a smaller construction company, and we're in sort of a niche area of the construction world here in the United States, it's really difficult to find a solution that works for us that isn't going to cost, tens of thousands of dollars a month. So essentially, I was just trying to piecemeal things together within our budget so that we could, try and, create the efficiency and synergy within the team. But it just was something that we were never really able to fully accomplish without your help, because we had like Monday.com, and I think
Hmm.
there just was never really a central hub, and we've really been able to execute and create that with you.
And tell me, because you mentioned Monday.com, have you been using any other tools such as Monday.com or Asana or whatever?
I'm trying to think back in the earlier days what we were using. I think it was just all offline kind of,
Mm,
a lot of what we do is very email heavy. And
yeah.
so it was kind of just, spreadsheets and keeping track of emails. And it was sort of all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, all over the place. Got it. So tell me, before we get into the process of how we solved those challenges and others, why specifically did you decide to work with me? What appealed to you? Why did you say, yes, let's do this?
I think because I know how important your operations are, especially as a small business, when you're running lean and you don't have those, additional bodies to kind of delegate things to, it's really hard to get to where you want to be. And so with you, we're now able to kind of see the vision, execute on the vision, and it was kind of an easy yes for me because, you're an operations guy, a systems guy, and that's exactly what we needed.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, so yeah, and I'm glad that it happened because I really enjoyed our collab. So let's now talk about process a little bit, about how we overcame these challenges that you've mentioned. The scattered information, right? The building of the systems, the streamlining and so on and so forth. Maybe a little bit about your personal work as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the process? I don't know, starting with either what was most important, or we can also go chronologically if you still remember.
Yeah, I think what was most important to me was, I guess, really sitting down and looking at what our processes are. Like, how do you get from A to Z and what does that look like? And with you, it was nice because we laid it all out there and we figured out where the efficiencies were and we cut the fat where, it needed to be cut. But it's also going to be a beautiful thing because in a year from now, we're going to have all these data points
Mm,
where we can see the trajectory of the company is going on, where the company is going. And so being able to see the processes from A to Z and trim that fat is going to help us grow exponentially this year as a company because the processes are laid out. Everybody knows kind of what they're doing. They have their own hubs. They're able to kind of see where we're going in real time.
beautiful. So basically the mapping of the strategy, yes? So mapping of the outcomes of all the things you want to achieve, then the things that need to
Correct. Yeah.
happen in order to achieve those things, and then how to like what actually do we have to do, right? And then monitoring everything.
Right. Exactly.
Lovely.
Which is such a key element to all of this. Because I mean, you can write all that you want down and you can have a vision for, the outcome, but unless you're monitoring it and
Mm,
it's in your face, it's going to be, out of sight, out of mind. And so this is sort of in your face and keeps you a lot more accountable to where you want to go.
yeah, yeah. And I remember we also talked about it. So then based on what we've mapped, right? Based on the main outcomes and outputs, meaning the goals for the business, then it also helps you with your actually daily work, right? With the calendar by blocking it and so on. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
About the time blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really love the concept of time blocking, and I never really was able to get it to kind of stick.
Mm,
And I think because I had so much clarity on what I should be doing every single day and where we're going, the time blocking, I think, what are we like almost 4 months in, and the consistency with the time blocking is a pretty high percentage. So I'm not perfect, but I'm a lot better than I was 4 months ago when it comes to, time blocking, doing deep work, getting the stuff done that needs to get done, and getting the high value work done as opposed to getting lost in the low value tasks. I think I was probably doing a lot more of 4 months ago.
yeah. Yeah. Lovely. So that was the mapping and then the prioritization and monitoring of everything that's happening in the company, and also what others, like the team members, have to be doing, what they're doing, and so on and so forth. What else did we do? We also set up the bid list, right? And then streamlined it, client
Yeah, so I
portals.
think
Yeah.
when it comes to a construction company, I know we're a little bit different than a tech company or, some sort of e-commerce company. At the end of the day, it's still a business, and that's something that, we all need some sort of systems and operations help with. I think regardless of size. And, with us, we were able to really these features within Notion that in terms of acquisition strategies, in terms of marketing, in terms of, keeping track of subcontractors,
Yeah.
because we created a subcontractor database, our CRM slash bid list, which, keeps everybody, which is kind of like the lifeline of our business of what we're
Mm.
bidding, what's coming out, what we should be looking for, what's being forecasted. So it's things like that we created within Notion, as well as just automating a lot of processes with putting packages together, making sure people know what tasks they're assigned to, making sure, when things are due, who are we sending them to, just things that really make our business more efficient.
Yeah, lovely. And tell me, could you share a little bit about your team? So did it help with the collaboration, or what did your teammates and employees think about what we've done?
Yeah, so anytime you introduce sort of a new software to people, you always get a little bit of pushback because they're like, oh, I'm used to, doing these archaic, doing these things in an archaic way. And, I don't want to be more efficient because I know one way already. And so especially with a lot of the people that I work with, they're a little bit older in age. And so introducing this to them and showing them just how much time they're wasting without this,
Hmm.
it was a game changer for us because now everybody's like, this is nice. I'm saving time here. I'm saving time here. Everybody is truly on board with it now, when at first it was like, I don't know if I really want to like move over to this because I already know a way and it works. But it's slow, inefficient, and we're gonna get more done now this year than any year before.
Awesome. Awesome. Any other, because these I guess were the main things, right? But maybe there's anything else that sticks out about the process, about the tangible things that we've done. If not, we can move on. I'm thinking.
About the tangible things that we've done. I'm trying to think. I think we optimized me and then it trickled down from there. And, now, we're just on our way to being, I sound like a broken record, but more efficient and, saving time and resources.
Yeah, yeah. So taking into account all the things that we've done, we've been working together 3 months. We worked together for 3 months, more or less. And so how has this whole journey, everything that we've done, impacted your work and life? If you could summarize it.
How has that impacted my
Your
work
life,
and life? Yeah,
business.
I think, as entrepreneurs, it's something where your work is kind of your life. And, we choose that. It's a voluntary thing. It's not something that, it's something that I've chosen and I wouldn't want it any other way. And so the way that this has impacted me, it just feels like my life is way less stressful because outside of work, when I'm done doing work, I've been able to sort of optimize what am I doing outside of work? I'm doing a 100-mile bike race. I've put all my training in there. So I know what I'm training, which day I'm training, what I'm going to be doing, in terms of how I'm allocating my time with the time blocking. It's like, cool, I know where my gaps are in the days and I know how I can fill them. And so I think overall there's less of a burden of like, what should I be doing today? And more of, okay, I know what I'm doing today. And when I get that stuff done, let's fill the holes in somewhere else. Or let's look at my week slash month and where the holes at to where, okay, where can I fit other things in?
Got it. So it seems like you just regain more control over your life, and then greater clarity, and this greater clarity leads also to greater efficiency and effectiveness because you know like what to do, how to do, whether you have the capacity, and so on and so forth. Am I right?
Exactly.
Lovely. Was there anything that surprised you in our partnership?
In our partnership or just like in general?
In general, in general, anything that comes to mind?
So I think the biggest thing that really surprised me is how much time I was spending in my email and how that needed to change because I was spending so much time there and I wasn't getting, like I said, I was doing low value things a lot of the time that really just I needed to cut that habit out to, but it wasn't until we started working together where I was like, oh man, like I'm using my time so inefficiently. And now I feel like, the workday is way more streamlined.
Yeah, yeah, got it, got it. And I think the last question, what would you say to a person who's on the fence, that doesn't know whether to buy, whether to start working with me?
If somebody's on the fence, I think they need to hop right over and, work with you because it is for a small team. I mean, for however, whatever size team, this has been such a game changer for us. I can't say that, I can't stress that enough that this is a game changer for us because it's not only can I see what we're doing and where we're going, but I can see how how we're going to be able to scale, where the holes are and how we get to that revenue number that we want to accomplish this year. And so I think just having the processes and the systems down to where everybody can work towards that common goal, it's just a huge game changer for us.
Lovely. Thank you for that. And in terms of revenue, right? Are you, because if I remember correctly, like you want to scale from 3 to 5 this year, and are you like, confident that it's going to happen? Of course, you can't predict the future, but
Yeah, I think we're actually going to do more than that this year. Hopefully, I definitely think we're going to hit our goals for sure, but we actually might exceed them. So, again, it's all about, being in the systems and processes that we built and really sort of, oh, I need to follow up with this person because I haven't seen them or talked to them in a while. And bam, like just last week, we were sent another project and it was just because I followed up from a previous project and it was kind of a succession of things that happened because I was able to see, oh, I haven't
hmm,
talked to this person, since X date. We worked with them here, blah blah blah, and then it was like bam, here's another project. So
wow, that's beautiful. I'm really
yeah.
happy. I'm really happy for you and for your business. Amazing, Tori. Thank you. It was an amazing journey. Yeah, I really enjoyed our collaboration. I wish you all the best, exceeding all the goals you have in business, in personal life, with your biking, with your DJing. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Tori.
Cool.